Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading. This is your August 2025 bonus reading, and we are going to jump right in here. You have this card that says the end of a tough cycle approaches. You also have this card that says adjustments are required. It is an amazing time for adjustments. You know, we have Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign, Leo. And I think it would be an amazing time. Like anything that you're working on, building, creating, like tiny little changes might have a big impact, right? So that's what I would be focusing on, especially it is popping into my head as money. Even though we don't have anything necessarily about money yet in this reading, that could change in a minute. I do think it is talking about like whatever you do for work, and I feel like I've said this to you before, Aquarius, that maybe even in your last reading, maybe it was the August reading, I don't remember, but it just seems to me like there are just like tiny little things that would make a huge difference in like the results that you're getting. And again, without knowing what you do, I don't know what advice to offer, but what I would say is do your freaking research, right? There's plenty of places you can learn about whatever you do for free, right? There are channels on YouTube about worm farming, so I don't care what you do. I'm sure there's plenty of information that exists for free, right? You start here in your current general energies with the Two of Wands. It is a time of leadership. I kind of feel like everybody gets these leadership cards. Seems like a collective energy to me. It also kind of makes sense to me because we have all this energy in Aries. And so that's the whole thing with Aries energy is that it can bring up like leadership opportunities, or it can basically say that we all need to take the lead in our own life. And the Two of Wands really is a card of taking lead. He's also standing where he has always been. The whole point of this card is that he rushed to a finish line, or the story of the Two of Wands is he rushed to a finish line, and he finished his project, building his castle, but, he didn't enjoy the journey. And so now he needs to go build something else out in the world. And I feel it is time for you to, like, build your next thing, in your life. And it could be anything. It could be your health. It could be a relationship. It could be a business. It could be whatever. But intuitively, that's kind of like what I'm getting here on this card. You have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords like charging forward towards success, and which is good. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not gonna lie here, Aquarius. I don't know how I feel. I don't claim to know everything, and I wouldn't trust any intuitive that does. And if I don't know, I just say it. But this is coming up as your crossing energy. Let me explain myself at least. It's like, this is your crossing energy. Normally, the crossing energy can be what hurts you or helps you in a Celtic cross, and to me, the Knight of Swords is a card of being too hasty, making decisions too quickly. But intuitively, I feel more that you need to make decisions quicker, actually. So, kind of makes sense that could be your crossing energy. I almost feel like this is saying stop second guessing yourself. That's more the energy that I'm getting off of the card. And again, the way that I read is I put myself in your shoes. I feel like you're second guessing yourself about certain moves that you want to make in your life. And it's like if you would stop doing that, I think you would make like 10 years of progress in about a month, right? And I'm not even being dramatic here. I literally feel that you would make so much progress very quickly. So, there's something about you needing to not keep second guessing yourself here. We're going to clarify through, and hopefully we'll get more details on that. Like, I feel like there's more to the story with that card. I'm just not getting it. You have in the area of what's on your mind, or in the area of your thoughts, the Knight of Cups, which could be love. So if you are hoping for love, there could be like a knight in shining armor type person that you are thinking about. Now, one thing is that you go down to the Ten of Swords to the Knight of Pentacles, which is like too slow, right? So again, it's Ten of Swords normally would be like being stabbed in the back, although I kind of feel like you're seeing that something is a blessing in disguise here. We'll talk about this when we get to your past position. That's where this is coming up, but I kind of feel like some of you could be meeting a person that you are realizing is like a blessing, and you also are realizing that the fact that a past person didn't work out is a blessing as well. So I feel that for some of you. But I definitely feel some moves need to be made here. The problem with the Knight of Cups, especially in the area of the mind, is that he's too dreamy, and which isn't necessarily bad. It's not necessarily a bad time to dream, especially since we have Neptune retrograding back into Pisces soon enough, and also Saturn. And so again, if Neptune was there alone, I would say we're all screwed, right? I would have said this years ago, right? The reason that I've been optimistic about Neptune and Pisces, since basically it started, and you can go back to the beginning of my channel when I started going live, and I used to talk about this all the time, that the only reason I feel optimistic about it is because Saturn. That's it. Because I knew that Saturn would be there at the end. And I also knew that they would both move into Aries at the same time. I think this is a little bit of a blessing. I don't think we're going to understand that for a couple of years maybe, that how much of a blessing it is, until we've all maybe started working on our wildest dreams, or, accomplish something, or, good things start happening in the world again. But, whatever it is, so again, I think that it's like a little bit of a blessing. But, again, I think what it's saying is that you need to start taking action on those dreams. You need to, solidify them here on Earth. It's like right now they just exist above your head. Next, in the area of your foundation, you have the Hangman. Again, also fits in very well with the astrology, because we have Uranus and Gemini. And yes, this is Pisces. I understand that it's not Gemini. I never said that. People keep correcting me. And although I make it clear in every freaking reading, I literally say, yes, I understand this is Pisces. But whatever. What I would say here is that, again, Uranus and Gemini, very kind of similar to the Hangman, because in some ways, not completely, but in the sense that it is going to bring in new perspectives on everything that we are doing. The whole point of the Hangman is to put yourself on pause and gain a new perspective on something. So any new perspectives that you are gaining in life at all, on everything, I would just explore those new directions. Again, I don't necessarily think we have to commit to anything. But if we come up with an idea, for example, and it's like a different perspective, something completely out of left field, I feel it's an amazing time to experiment with those ideas. Most of them aren't going to work, but the ones that do will change your freaking life. Mark my words, right? Now, you're going to have to put the work in. You're actually going to have to do it. It's not going to magically happen. But, again, if you do the work on those things and you implement those random ideas, you will probably be surprised with what happens. Next, in the area of your past position, this is the energy you're moving past. You have this Close Encounters card and this Birds of a Feather card. Yeah, I feel like some of you have either left a connection, maybe your most recent connection, and actually I'm getting that, this could have ended years ago, and, maybe some of you have been single since. Maybe you thought you were birds of a feather with this person, but I think this person was actually keeping you stuck in a cage, honestly. It's like, I feel like this person, just wanted you it's almost like they wanted you as a pet for some of you. So, definitely something to be aware of. I would say the good news is that you're seeing that this is a blessing, that you're not with this person, obviously. And I think you're attracting something that's much, much better into your life. So I feel good about that. I do feel that you, Aquarius, just in general, have kind of I think you are realizing that you are the people you spend the most time with, right? And so I do feel with this Birds of a Feather card, a lot of you could be focused on building better relationships. We end with the Six of Cups in your reading, which is very good. The Six of Cups, just, let's say that it's a very general card, is very good for all relationships, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But, again, I feel pretty good about that. You have the Five of Cups. Five of Cups can be regrets and sadness. The beautiful thing is it's coming up in the past. So, again, in the past position in a Celtic cross is the energy that you are moving past. So I feel a lot of you Aquarius people are moving past the past. And you're probably just moving forward. There's really nothing to add here. Again, the solution to his problem is gratitude. And I do feel that there is like a lot of stuff for you to be grateful for that is coming in for you here, Aquarius. So I do like to see that with the Five of Cups. Now, next I realized something. And so, sorry, YouTube is run by 4-year-olds, so I have to make sure that there aren't any chesticles or testicles or anything else poking out on these cards, right? And so anyway, moving forward here into the energy of the very near future, you have this Priest card and this Fortune card, so they're definitely good, are good fortunes coming in for you here. I feel pretty good about this. Like I said, I feel like the Ten of Swords is like some sort of blessing in disguise that's coming in for you. So a lot of you could be attracting a blessing in disguise, or it's like you've been through something that has been a blessing in disguise, so I really like to see that. I feel like this Priest card is saying, like, don't get stuck in dogma in general. That is like my one warning with Neptune in Aries. And now, so again, Neptune's retrograding, but next year especially, like I would say starting, like, Neptune moves back into Aries in January, at the end of January, but I would really say maybe like in March, right? That we really need to be careful of getting sucked into the hive mind mentality. So it's like if everybody believes something about anything that you do, right here, right? Then you probably should go the other direction. We are in a time where you want to be the black sheep. You want to be the wild child, the one who is different, the one that everybody talks about. You want to be on the tip of everyone's tongue. So when everybody's like, what are you doing? Everybody does this way. And then everybody will talk about how you, Aquarius, do things a different way. And trust me, you want to be that person because, number one, people are talking about you. They're sending you free attention and free energy. Number two, again, doing your own thing is what the universe wants us to do. It doesn't want us to become part of the hive mind. It wants us to break established patterns, literally. That's what the astrology says. So that's what I would do, right? The opposite. Also, in the very near future, you have the Ten of Swords. I feel pretty good about this Ten of Swords. Like, yeah, some Ten of Swords can be uncomfortable sometimes, but I feel that you're realizing that something that didn't work was a blessing in disguise. So I just really get blessing in disguise energy here, Aquarius. And the beautiful thing is, again, I think that if this is love, that you already have a new person on your mind. Like, I'm not saying you're talking to this person yet. Maybe some of you, maybe not. But you definitely, and if you haven't yet, I feel this person could be coming in the next few months. Because literally, in the area of the next few months, you have the Knight of Pentacles. So definitely could be a new connection. Next, in your outcome row, you have this Lost card. It says, Directionless, Dark Night of the Soul. I think that's what you've been through. You have this Petty Tyrant. It says, Oppressor, Struggle for Autonomy. This could be this person. Again, if you had a person, that's such a weird message, but it is almost like someone kept you as a pet. And I think part of you knows this, Aquarius, that it's like maybe someone never really let you in, and maybe they were dealing with other people. It's almost like they just want to keep control over you. And I feel a lot of you are kind of like finally having that realization. In the area of the next few months, you have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is slow and steady progress. Sometimes it can represent no progress, but I feel pretty good about this for you, Aquarius. I feel like you're like moving forward. It's like, are things perfect? No, but I think you're making progress in life, like I said. I think you're moving in the right direction. I think you're kind of like taking the right actions. He needs to plant these seeds in this field behind him to have growth in his life. And so I feel a lot of you, it's like you are, it's just popping into my head that you are doing things that are causing growth. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, I mean, Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. So, again, if you want love, I would say stop restricting yourself. I think you need to, open up and get out there because there's clearly love that's available for you in this reading. But it's like you're going to have to, like I said, you're going to have to put yourself out there to get that love. And so I would highly recommend it with this energy. Eight of Swords, is self-imposed restriction. So, again, this area of the reading represents all relationships in your life. So if you're feeling lonely or, anything, it basically says you just have to go find connection. And I know that's easier said than done, but, again, there are people who will connect with you if you want it. So if you're feeling alone, there's no reason. You could easily find connection. Next, in the area of your future feelings, love it. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Really couldn't ask for a better card in this position. It's like you feel like things are changing. You feel like you have control over your destiny, which is good. And, control is a big word right now. Again, mostly because we are going to have, next year, Neptune and Saturn will both be in Aries permanently for a good long period of time. Basically 2.5-ish years for Saturn and almost 14 years for Neptune. So again, they'll be there for a good while together, few years, and then Neptune will be there for a long time. And so I think that taking control of your life is like a big theme. And the Wheel of Fortune really does say that you are taking control of your destiny. It's also about being able to see like what's working and what's not. Because with the Wheel of Fortune, we have to double down on the good stuff and take care of the challenges right away. It's like the faster we do that, the faster we get the wheel spinning in the right direction, which is what we want. And, the Wheel of Fortune is about building positive momentum. And so, again, to do that, we have to make sure that we're doubling down on the good stuff and taking care of the bad stuff right away. You have the Six of Cups here as your outcome, which is very good, actually, because like on a certain level, the Six of Cups can just be happiness. It can say that you have entered into a time or position of happiness and joy, which is great. It can also say that you are that you could be experiencing a turnaround, because the Six of Cups can be a gift from the universe, and usually the gift we receive is a turnaround, meaning we've been bumping up against an obstacle, and then when we get this card, things turn around and things get better. So definitely could be an improvement. Could also represent attracting a soulmate as well. The Six of Cups, I do not read it as a past person, and definitely based off this reading, I definitely don't think you want to be anyone's pet. So yeah, I would say that a new soulmate would be a good idea if you want love, right? With the Two of Wands and the Knight of Swords, you have two cards. You have the Magician and the Knight of Wands. So you can have whatever you want here, Aquarius. The Magician and the Knight of Wands are about, or the Magician's about attraction. Knight of Wands about going on the adventure to get it. You have all four Knights, which is very interesting, Here, you have the Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. So a lot of you could be attracting like a very evolved person is kind of what's popping into my head. And again, I think you could be attracting a person who really does a lot in life, which is much more exciting than a person who does nothing, right? So, you could be attracting a person who just does a lot. That's kind of how it's popping into my head. It's like a multifaceted person. You'll never be bored. With the Knight of Cups, you have the Wheel of Fortune. This person could change your fortunes. Now, I always say I don't think we should be getting with people because they do things for us. That's a great way to end up unhappy, and number one, because no one can do anything for us, plain and simple. It might seem like they can, but they really can't. So we have to get good with ourselves first before we get into connections. But, I always say as long as it's a side effect of the connection, there really isn't a problem with it. So, again, being with this person here, if you're attracting a new person, could change your life and for the better. So obviously that would be a good thing. With the Hangman, you have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, like this or that thinking, and the Two of Swords basically says no. She has this new island behind her. She is thinking that something will go this way or that way, but really it's going to go this way over here, a completely different direction. And the Hangman is very similar because he's seeing things from a new perspective. Again, I think it's pretty simple. It's just saying anything, and I think this is true for everyone right now, like anything big that we're doing, it probably isn't going to go according to plan. But again, this is not a bad thing. It's just, things are just going to be a little bit different, or, we're good, things might kind of like go in a different direction. And that's perfectly fine. With the Five of Cups, you have the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior. So Nine of Wands says, protect yourself, right? It's coming up in the past. I don't know. Even though it's coming up in the past position, which I would normally say this is the energy you're moving past, I would still make sure that, you're not letting past people into your life who've hurt you and things like that. That's the type of protection we're talking about here, is like, kind of having healthy boundaries, right? So I would make sure that you're putting up boundaries against people, who have gotten in your way or who have caused problems in your life, or, any of that. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Six of Cups again, which is great. Definitely a turnaround coming in for you. It's almost like fortune after difficulty is what I'm getting for you here, Aquarius. Like, I feel like some of you, this is really saying that you're overcoming something after a difficult period of time, or maybe you're getting a gift from the universe after having been through a difficult period of time. This could also say that you've been through like a dark night of the soul, like this card says. It says lost, it says directionless, and dark night of the soul. So again, it's like after you've been through a difficult period of time, you're finally getting the rewards. And I definitely feel that. With the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is a quick success, charging forward. This could also be good because I look at this energy, Knight of Pentacles with the Eight of Wands. It kind of reminds me of like those cars that we had when we were kids. Those cars, you drag them backwards and you're like charge them up, then you let them go and they take off. That's what I feel here. It's like some of you have had to like charge your batteries. It's like you've had to, charge up your energy before taking off in a direction. And so I think things are going to take off very quickly. Now, the reading looks like momentum to me because of the Wheel of Fortune. So it's like things can start slow and then build over time. It's like you're not just going to magically blast off like a rocket, right? It's like more you've pulled back and you slowly get going and then take off, right? And that's what this energy feels like to me with Eight of Wands. There you go. I also feel this right here could be new communication. So again, if you're meeting a person, this could be something that starts as communication, or kind of starts a little bit more slowly, but that's fine. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups. Always, it really wouldn't be an Aquarius reading without the Seven of Cups. Sorry, it's like you always have the Seven of Cups with me. Seven of Cups can be being spoiled for choice, having a lot of options. But I think that this is overthinking a little bit. So I would make sure that you're not overthinking. The other thing is it's like saying you fantasized enough. I feel like I said this to you in one of your more recent readings, Aquarius, but I feel this is kind of like saying, okay, you have fantasized enough. It's time to make the fantasy a reality. This definitely could be love. So again, if you do have your eye on a person, it might be time to like flirt or talk to the person or make a move or do whatever you're gonna do, right? And I'm getting this doesn't even have to be a person. Like you could have been, maybe you have been flirting with an idea for your life. And I feel like the Seven of Cups is saying, here, it's coming up in the area of your closest relationships because it's basically saying you need to make the full commitment to this idea. That's the other thing as well, is if you're kind of just trying something right now, like something that you want to work, like a business, an idea, a plan, a goal, wish, whatever, trying is not going to work. It's like you just have to do it, completely, all the way through. And, that's the feeling I get on that Seven of Cups. You can't make this up. Here you go. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Chariot. Chariot is about charging straight through something, walls, barriers, everything. Nothing can get in his way. Nothing can get in your way, Aquarius, but you have to adopt that mentality. You have to become unstoppable. You have to. The Chariot is a card of hard control. He is really taking control of those reins, and he's really making things happen. And there is no other way than for him to be successful. We also said it that you need to be the black sheep at this time, right? He's leaving the city behind him behind. Everyone in that city is calling him crazy. Like, what the hell are you doing, leaving your life behind? what are you doing, moving in new directions and living your life different than everybody else, right? And so with the Chariot, we have to be careful of like the hive mind mentality, and we have to be willing to charge away from the way things have always been done. We have to be willing to upgrade and do things in different ways, right? Also, I'm getting moving here for some of you. So some of you could be thinking about moving with the Eight of Wands and the Chariot, and if you are, I do think these are good cards for moving. With the Six of Cups, you have the Queen of Cups. Yes, Queen of Cups says follow your heart. The Queen of Cups is about following your heart. That's it. So I think your heart could be telling you to do things that you need to do at this time, and I would just follow that direction. Also, again, Queen of Cups could be love coming in for you. So, your heart could be guiding you to like a love connection or something like that. So let's see. You have this ear card. It says good news on it. I thought you had the Page of Pentacles for some reason. I guess I'm making that up, but you do have two Knights here. Knights are messengers, so I feel that you need to pay attention to people who are delivering messages that could be very important for you. You have this broken bridge. It says unsuccessful outcome to a problem. This would be the Ten of Swords. Again, sometimes with the Ten of Swords, something just isn't meant to work, and we have to realize that moving on from whatever it is a blessing, right? And that's kind of the energy I get here for you. You have this dog barking. It says advice from a friend. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like everybody basically has had these messages this month. Even in the last set of readings I did for the month, everybody's had these messages of really needing to be willing to, tap into the resource of like friends, family, guides, mentors, people we look up to, things like that. And if we really listen to those people, they could have good guidance for us, and that's what I would pay attention to, Aquarius. You have this love card, so, I mean, obviously, there could be love. We have a lot of love cards here. Is it like a big focus of the reading? No, but it is showing up here, so if you want love, I feel there could be a very strong connection. You have this harp card. It says great happiness on it. I think everybody needs to do more things that make them feel happy. It's like the more we can bring happiness, joy, love, peace, joy into the world, the better. The better energies we will create. I feel like I need to pull this card too. Yeah, here you go. You have this January card. Your birth time, Aquarius, right? And so again, between like now and January, you probably need to focus on joy, or that needs to be your focus, which again kind of makes sense because at the end of January is when Neptune moves back into Aries, and then the end of February ish is when Saturn moves back into Aries. So I think between now and really March, I would say I think we all need to do things to follow our bliss more because it's hard to do right now. That's why, right? And you might be saying it's hard. Why would I do that? Well, because that's what's going to lead to the most growth and the most success. And anyone else who tells you to do anything else is just you're going to be no results. So don't be one of those people, right? There's plenty of results to be had. And I would make sure that you're following your bliss or doing things that bring joy into your life so that you can have those good things. And it's just that simple. But this looks pretty good here, Aquarius. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your month.